back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Yo, full-time family, we doubled up. Let's get straight to it. I believe this is episode 14, and if it's not episode 14, it's episode 15. The episode number doesn't really matter. What really matters is the bankroll. So what is up? If you're new to this series, this is Full-Time's Fake Money Bankroll, aka betting on the fights with fake money, where we get rich or we have fun trying. What did I do? Quick rundown. I started it off with $500, just a number on a piece of paper or on a word pad, essentially, if you're new school. And I started off with $500, and I'm acting like I live in Las Vegas or somewhere where you can actually gamble on fights. And I look at the fight odds on the website. Started with $500, you know, place $100 here, $100 there, and we're acting like $500 is our bankroll. Since then, we started off, I don't know, a few months back. Since then, we've doubled up officially this month as we went 4 for 4 with our predictions, which means since we bet on 2 of those fights, 2 of those underdogs, we got a pretty nice comeuppance, if I should. So we started off with $844.94 to start off last week's episode, and we bet $300 on these UFC 219 fights. We bet $100 on Neil Magny, $100 on Carla Esparza, and $100 on Holly Holm, just in case she shocked the world. Even though we predicted Chris Cyborg to win, bet $100 on Holly Holm, because if you win like 400. It would have been fun all around. So with that being said, Holly Holm of course did not win, but lucky for us, Neil Magny and Carla Esparza won. They were both underdogs. So let's move into last week's payout. You saw if we would have lost every single fight, since we started off with $844 and we bet $300, if we would have lost every single fight, we would have still had $544 for this week's episode. But since we actually profited, we come out to bam, $1,000.84. Doubled up. Fuck you, time, man. So this is our total payout for the week, $545. I'll explain how really quickly. Carlos Condit versus Neil Magny. We bet 100, we won 245. That was the payoff. So 145 profit on Neil Magny. Then on the Carla Esparza fight, we bet $100. She won. She was a larger underdog. Payout was $300. Profited 200. So we ended up profiting $345. We lost 100 in the Holly Holm fight. So if you take our $300 we bet plus our $345 profit minus the $100. All right, I know all the math sounds stupid, but some of you guys are keeping up with it. Our total number to bet with on fights this week is $1,084. That is our new bankroll. That is the highest we have ever been. I believe we cracked like $984 or $990 in the past, but we've officially doubled up, and that's actually dope. I mean, you know, you can do this yourself, and you know, bet your whole $500 in 1 week on one fight card and lose all your money, or you can actually pretend this is like, you know, take this shit somewhat serious. I mean, it's not too serious, but you know what I'm saying. It's dope that we started off at 500, now we're at 1,000, because if I ever do go to Las Vegas, I might try my hand at betting, because I didn't just completely fucking scrub out here. But with that being said, since we didn't scrub out, we actually did the opposite of scrubbing out. We went 4 for 4 on our predictions. Since we did that, I'm going to move to this week's fights. Well, actually, it's not this week's fights. Next week, the UFC took 2 weeks off. Next week's fights are Jeremy Stephens versus Doo-Ho Choi in the main event. So the odds were just released, so I can now do this fake money episode. Let me shut this door before one of my nieces or nephews comes and ruins this whole fucking recording. So here's this week's fights. As you can see, I'm going to be betting on the main event and Mrs. Paige Van Zandt. Kamaru Usman, also Michael Johnson's making his featherweight debut, I believe, versus Darren Elkins on this card, and he's not even on the main card. I mean, even when you go to the UFC Fight Night, where I got my odds from, bestfightodds.com, they have Michael Johnson versus Darren Elkins like on top of the Kamaru Usman fight, like it's a part of the main card. So it's very interesting. All 5 of these fights could have been a part of the main card. The UFC has 5-fight main cards all the time, but this is on Fox, I believe. And if not, either way, it is what it is. I'm not going to be betting on the Michael Johnson fight anyway. I mean, he's a favorite and he's going down a weight class. He said he's never been 145 pounds since high school. So it's kind of like the TJ Dillashaw situation. It's like you could move down and be a force and be just as solid, but at the same time, that weight cut could really affect you, especially if you haven't fought at that weight class for a long time or ever. So Michael Johnson was the favorite. I didn't plan on betting money on that fight anyway. Kamaru Usman versus Emil Mek, as expected. Kamaru Usman is a very, very heavy favorite, so I'm not betting on that fight. I mean, it's not worth betting $1,000 on Kamaru Usman to win $200 when anything can happen. So I'm not betting there. Paige Van Zandt, though, man, this is a hell of a fight. Jess Clark is in this fight more than a lot of people think. This is her second fight in the UFC, but her first win over Bec Rawlings was very impressive. So I didn't want to bet a full $100. That's my standard bet, $100. But since we're at an uneven number, 84-94, I figured I'd throw it on Paige Van Zandt, who's going to be fighting Jess Rose Clark. And if Paige Van Zandt can get a dominant performance here, or maybe even a spectacular finish, she could be fighting for that 125-pound crown next. But next, Uriah Hall versus Vitor Belfort. I picked Uriah Hall in the fight, and he's a pretty big favorite, so I'm not going to bet any money there. I mean, you would have to bet like $500 to win like $200. Just not worth it, especially, you know, when you're going to get anything can happen in MMA for one, and he's going against a pretty experienced veteran. Both of these guys have been fighting the best in the world. They're both 1-3 in their last 4 fights. They were both losing their last fight when they ended up getting the W. So it is what it is. Fun fight, but I'm not going to bet on the guy that I'm picking to win, who's a heavy favorite. Now, when we get to the main event, Jeremy Stephens, who I predicted to win, is actually an underdog. So I always like to bet. Whenever I predicted the underdog to win, I always like to bet there. So I'm betting $150 on Jeremy Stephens. So $84 on Paige Van Zandt and 94 cents, so essentially $85, and then $150 on Jeremy Stephens. The total bets this week is $234.94. Now, if we lose both of these bets, we still have $850 for UFC 220, which is always dope. We started off at $500. Keep that in mind. We are winning. With that being said, it is what it is. Thank you for checking out Full Time's Fake Money Bankroll Betting on the Fights with Fake Money, episode 14, 15, or 16. And yeah, get rich or have fun trying. That's a lot to remember. It is what it is. Let the Full Time family know what the fuck you tap at in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.